start with a small random source, perfectly uniformly random. And what we'll try to do is just to spread the randomness along a very long string. But to spread it in such a way that it will still look random to a polynomial time algorithm A. Okay? And the existence of such a process, let's call it B, a process that is able to spread randomness in a complicated way, the fact that this process exists is definitely, it has been shown that it's directly related to the existence of function f that is hard to compute. Because basically what you do is that if you have a function f that is really hard to compute, then you can use it to somehow mix the randomness everywhere. Because since it is hard to compute, algorithm A will not be able to understand what's going on. Okay? So maybe I should try to do it more specifically. Imagine, for instance, that you have a one-way function. Now, what is a one-way function? It's something that we don't know whether it exists, but we know that if it exists, we have one. It's computer science. Welcome. Anyway, so we are able to tell that if there is one, then this is this one. This one works. Okay, but we are not able to tell whether it exists or not because it's hard. Anyway, so a one-way function, what it is? It's a function for which it's really easy to compute f. So really easy means polynomial time. So there exists an algorithm A such that A of x, A compute f. Okay, the output of A, so it's a polynomial time algorithm. Okay, and it computes f in polynomial time. But there does not exist B A prime, an algorithm A prime that in polynomial time compute the inverse of x. You cannot have that. Okay? So this is typically what we want for cryptography. How does it work? So cryptography, you know, do you know how RSA work? No? That's very easy. You have a private key here. Okay, this is your private key, and you have a public key. Okay, a public key. So you have your private key, which is D, and a public key, which is A. Okay, and it turns out that D somehow is the inverse of A in a group. Okay, so just forget about the math. Okay, that's just D is the inverse. Okay, you know D, and you're only one who knows D. Okay, and everybody else knows E. E is the inverse of D, and the key here is that it is hard to compute the inverse of somebody. Okay, it is hard to compute the inverse of somebody. That's the key here. That's the assumption. Okay, there is a conjecture that tells you it's hard to compute the inverse. Okay, so how do you transmit a message? So imagine that Alice wants to send a message to Bob. How will you do? That's very easy. You want to say she wants to say X, send X to Bob. So what will she send? She will send E times X. Okay, and because E is randomly chosen at the beginning, this will look random to everybody. Okay, and since nobody can compute D from E, nobody will be able to compute X. Okay, so basically here, except Bob, who will just need to do E times X times D, and then he will get X. Okay, so here we have a typical case where there is a one-way function. Which one is it? Which one is the one-way function in this protocol? What is the one-way function here? what is the function that is hard to simple to compute but hard to inverse? It's the multiplication by e. Okay, multiplicating two integers, it's easy. Okay, but inversing the multiplication, it's hard, or it's presumably hard. Okay, until now we don't know how to do it efficiently. Okay, and that's a typical. That's one-way function are used this way. Okay, to in cryptographic protocol everywhere. Okay, this is a specific case of one-way function, which is called backdoor one-way function. Why backdoor? Because you have the d here that allows you, if you know it, to inverse the function. But if you don't know this backdoor, you won't be able to inverse it. Okay? So that's a one-way function. So assume you have a one-way function this way. Okay? So what you do here is that so it's I should be careful by doing that, but basically what you do is that you assume that you have a one-way function here, and you start with this very small random seed here, and for instance you take all the subset of size, I don't know, 17 or whatsoever of this string, and you apply f to this 17 input, and then you multiply the length of the string. And since it's hard to inverse, it cannot guess from this string here what was the initial ones, and then cannot understand the process, and it will look random. Okay, it's a terrible. I'm very sure nobody understands what I'm saying, but basically it's just to tell you that as soon as you have something hard enough, okay, as soon as you have something hard enough, you're able to produce randomness. Okay, and the problem that we have in computer science for decades now is that it's very hard to show that there are things hard enough. But the good news is that relying on these conjectures gave safety that were unmatched for many years. I mean, for instance, the RSA protocol, which is used everywhere and that gave birth to the internet and everything. You cannot imagine internet without cryptography. I mean, internet as we know now, buying stuff over the internet and everything, you could not imagine it without cryptography. If there wasn't a trustable protocol, if there wasn't paper, if there was not everything else, there would not be any possibility to buy stuff over the internet. Okay? So this was the crucial things to design efficient cryptographic protocols. And why RSA worked so well? Because it relied on conjectures on computer science. I mean that computer scientists had proved that these things, or not proved, but have given a lot of hints telling that these things are really hard. Okay? And because this protocol relied on these conjectures rather than on tricks, everything, this is the first cryptographic protocol that lasts for decades. Okay? Now they have some way to break it, apparently. There is some hope to break it. Okay? But this is the first cryptographic protocol that lasts for many years. Most of the protocols before they were thinking computationally lasted for few months, no more. Okay? Especially now that we have so many computational power and everything, we can spend a lot of time trying to find better solutions. We have mathematicians, we have more mathematicians than ever before, and this protocol resisted for so long, okay? Because it relied on these conjectures. Okay? So, now, let's get back to what I'm saying, is that, remember that we were trying to give some definition to deterministic chaos. Okay, we wanted to give a sense to deterministic chaos, trying to find a sense to something that looks random to us, okay, which is not random. We know it's not random. We know it's trivial from the Kolmogorov point of view, but we want still to give it a sense. And what we